morning. Happy Wednesday. How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's having a great week. Where are we at? July 29th, almost the month of August. Got a lot of crazy stuff going on in this world. Got some storms rolling into the area. So just a quick reminder before we jump into the agenda for today. If you have closings coming up, if you have any properties, listings, buyers, it doesn't matter. If you have a closing coming up sometime soon, you need to make sure that if it's your buyer that you have your insurance bound before these storms come into our box of uncertainty. So if you're not familiar, there's a box basically around the Florida Peninsula into the Caribbean areas. And once a storm gets inside that box, a named storm, insurance gets shut down. So your closing will not happen if you don't have your insurance bound, and you're going to get delayed. There's going to be some issues. So that's our PSA. So make sure that your insurance is bound for your buyers or on your listings. Call your buyer's agents, make sure that's done, because we do have some storms kind of lingering around out there coming into the picture. So not sure what's going to happen with those, but that's your first order of business today. Start making those calls. It cannot hurt to get ahead of it. Why would we wait till the last minute anyway? All right. So with that being said, last week, Next Level University talked a lot about mindset, goals, contracts, just doing more business, being a little better than you were yesterday, doing just that a little bit more. And I've noticed a theme of talking with people over the last, it's been months and months and months, but just over the last month and a half, 2 months, I've had a lot of people with struggles with setting goals. So when I'm talking to you about what you're going to do, what kind of goals you're going to set, what does a perfect world look like for you? What would have to happen this year for you to consider it a success? A lot of us have issues with that. We have a hard time attaching to something and seeing what it is that we really want. It's like, do I really want that? I'm not sure if that's what I want. I don't know. I'm not sure. Am I asking for too much? Is it too big? Is it too little? So I've noticed a lot of people don't have an issue attaching to goals, whether you don't feel you're good enough to get them, whether you don't feel like you can actually achieve them, or you just haven't taken the time to really sit down and focus on where you're at in life to know what that next step is for you, where you want to go, what direction you want to be in. So what I want to tell you today and show you today is it's a measuring tool. It's how you can get clarity on where you are, what you are doing in your life currently, and then how you can start looking to the future to set some goals. Because we talk about big ass smile goals. We talk about live a little bit, stretch a little bit, grow a little bit. Why not go for the first class trip somewhere rather than just flying coach? Why not get a limo to the airport? Why not go and upgrade to a suite rather than just being in a normal hotel room? But some of you I know have issues with doing that, and we could tell you to do it all we want, but if you don't feel like you deserve it, if you don't feel like you're good enough for it, or you don't feel like you can achieve it, it's going to be tough. So I'm going to show you a little tool that you can use, and I would highly encourage us to walk through this. Each one of you should be doing this just as a measuring tool to get clarity on where you're at. And then from there, you can start pushing and setting little goals. They can be big, they can be little. It's just the next step. What's progress going to look like for you? So I'm going to share my screen and talk a little bit about that, trying to help you narrow down on where you are so you can start setting some real goals for yourself. I didn't say realistic, I said real goals, because sometimes the goals you may want, somebody else is going to tell you it's not realistic, but it's real to you. And if it's real to you, that's all that matters. So let's go share screen. All right, so what we're going to talk about today is building clarity and how to set these boundaries of where you are and then eliminate them by looking forward to the future and trying to attain what progress would be for you. So building clarity. As you know, there's many business owners out there, whether you're a business owner, whether you're a fitness expert, whether it doesn't matter what you do. If you do anything and you do it well, you have to track where you're at. So building clarity is about tracking your business, tracking where you're at, knowing what you're doing, knowing what you're getting, and then setting a plan in place to continue to move forward. Whether, like I said, whether you're a business owner, you need to track your numbers. You need to track what you're doing on a daily basis to bring in new business. You need to track your expenses. You're going to need to track your savings. You need to track your profit and loss. You need to track all of those things. If I work out and I'm a bodybuilder, I'm a fitness expert, I'm going to be tracking my diet. I'm going to be tracking my workouts. I'm going to be managing and tracking my incremental increases, the lengths of time that I'm doing things. I'm going to track those things so I know if I'm getting better, if I'm doing things in a better direction, if I'm getting any progress there. So for anyone to be successful, you've got to track and you have to measure. And Peter Drucker wrote this book, The Effective Executive, says what gets measured gets managed. And that couldn't be more true. Because if you're not measuring something, if you're not looking at what am I doing, what am I getting, and where am I going, if you're not measuring any of those things, how do you know? And that's why so many of us feel confused, feel lost, feel frustrated, because we have all of these open loops that are circling around in our head that aren't getting measured. So whether in your business, you have all these open loops of, I need to talk to these people. I said I was going to do this. I've got that open contract over there. I've got a buyer that's over here. This person called me 2 weeks ago. I know I need to do more marketing. I know I don't know where my numbers are at. I need to look at this. You have all these open loops that haven't got measured, don't know where they are, don't know what that next step is, and don't have any type of plan on where to get to. So you know what you're measuring, what you're getting, and know what kind of progress you're making. That's why a lot of us are frustrated. So if we can sit down and just measure where we're at and take this little bit of time to understand where you are and set a plan for the next couple steps, that's really all that it takes. So when you're trying to build this clarity and trying to measure this is what's going to be really important here. Identify what's important in your lives. Identify what it is. Identify what's important in your business life. Identify what's important in your personal life. Identify what's important in life all around. Because if you're not focusing on what's important, are you ever going to feel purposeful? Are you ever going to feel like you're achieving something? Are you ever going to feel like there's progress if you're not focusing on what's important to you? Then identify what progress looks like. We like to say, what does a level 10 look like for you? But I would just say progress. What's the next step? What would you have to have happen this year or in the next 6 months, 12 months, or 2 years for you to feel like this was a success? And in other words, what does a level 10 look like for you? Like if you're rating your life on a scale of 1 to 10, what does that level 10 look like to you? And then identify the actions that you're going to need to progress. This is just measuring. That's all that we're doing here, is identifying what's important. If this is important to me, what would this look like at a level 10? Or what would this look like at the end of this year if I was to consider this area a success, because this is really important to me? And if this would be a success, what do I have to do to feel like I'm making progress towards that? What actions would I have to take? Who would I have to talk to? What would I have to do? What kind of time would I have to implement? So just knowing those things is going to help you get clarity, and it's also going to help you measure where you're at and then make progress. And here is the key to doing that. This seems so basic and so simple, but so many of us have never taken the time to do a simple exercise like this, so you don't know where you stand with yourself to know why you're getting better, why you're not getting better, what the next step is, what your goals are, and what your outcomes are. So this is a simple wheel of life. If you haven't done one, I would highly suggest you do this, because if you're having trouble with goals, figuring out if my goal is good enough, big enough, is it important, does it mean something to me, is it going to work, can I do it? Sit down and do this first, because this whole exercise is going to help us just understand what's important to you. So we take this wheel of life, and it's cut into 7 different categories, and we try and break them up so we can kind of get an idea. If you notice on the outside, there's a level 10. So if I was going to ask you to do this, if you have a pen and paper, I would ask you to do this right now. So sit down, take a piece of pen and paper, draw a big circle on it, and draw that big circle on it, and then divide it into a pie with 7 pieces. And on the outside of each piece, you're just going to write these things. Up at the top right, physical body, emotions and meaning, relationships, time, career and mission, finances, and contribution and spirituality. And then in the center of that dot of circle, that dot in the center would be considered a 0. So if you don't feel like you are measuring yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, if you say, well, my physical body is at a 0. Why? Because I don't eat right, I don't work out, I don't do anything, I use the elevator, I never take the stairs. I mean, heck, I do everything I can just to sit down all day and do absolutely nothing. That might be considered a 0 for you. And then a level 10 would be, I'm in the absolute best shape of my life. I work out 6 days a week. I eat healthy. I manage everything that I eat and intake. I write down on a journal. I track all of those things. That could be a level 10 for you. A level 10 for you on a physical body could just mean I feel strong. I feel energetic. I work out 3 days a week. I walk every morning, and I just feel like my body is healthy. That could be a level 10. But for you, this is where you start to measure yourself. If you are going to rate yourself in each of these categories, we'll start with physical body on a scale of 0 to 10, 1 to 10, what would you rate yourself? Be honest with yourself, because the only person that's going to see this is you. The only person that's going to gauge this is you. And the only person you're disappointing or letting down is yourself if you're not being honest with yourself in these categories. So what does that physical body look like for you? You know, if I was going to put this on here, I'd probably put myself at about a 6 or a 7, just because I feel I could do a little bit better with my eating habits. I eat very well, but I feel like I could do a little bit better. I feel like I could be a little bit more dedicated in the gym, meaning I could track a little bit better with what I'm doing. I mean, I have scheduled workouts and I do them, but I could write them down and journal them and track them. I could set different goals for myself, because I really haven't set any goals for my physical body goals. So right now I would say I'm at like a 6, because I'm 6, 6, 7, because I do a lot of the things I know I should do, but I know I could be better. Right? And then emotions and meaning. So here, emotions and meaning. How do you manage your emotions? If you were gauging this on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you manage your emotions? How do you manage what things, when something happens to you, the meaning that you associate to it and the emotion that there gets attached to it? How do you manage those emotions? When something happens, when a deal blows up and your emotions start going crazy because you're emotionally attached to it, and you get nuts and you flip out and you can't handle it and the world's falling apart, how do you manage that? On a scale of 1 to 10, what would that mean to you? And these are emotions and meaning in all areas of life. Do you have regular breakdowns? You know, are you understanding that when someone does something that's in your life, that's just, it's the only reason and emotion that you can attach to that is the meaning that you give it. They didn't do anything to you. This is just the meaning that you associated to it. How do you manage that? Or does everything that happens to you affect you? Does it affect you and carry on with you for the rest of the day? How do you manage your emotions and meaning? Now, this is on a scale of 1 to 10, 0 to 10. What would you rate that? Next is relationships. Your relationships. This could be friends. This could be intimate relationships. If you wanted to, you could really draw another line right down the middle of that, and you could split that and do one side intimate relationships, the other side, you know, going to be just relationships, meaning friends, family, acquaintances, and things like that. So if you wanted to go one step further, you could definitely do that. But your relationships, how do you rate them? Do you put the time into your relationship? So start with intimate relationship. Think about that. Am I giving that person everything that I need or everything that they need? Is this a loving relationship? Is it benefiting both parties? Do I feel this love and compassion? Is this completely on fire for me? Can I not wait to get home? Think about the beginning of your relationship. And do you still act, feel, and do things similar that you did in the beginning of your relationship now? And if you were going to rate your relationship, your intimate relationship, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate that? And what would make it a 10? What would make it a 10 for me would be to going back to more of those things that I did in the beginning of the relationship and making sure I did more of those things. Setting a daily goal of affirmations to my wife to tell her and make sure she understands how much I love her, how much I care about her, how much she means to me, how appreciative I am of everything that she does. And writing those down in advance and making sure I tell her those every day. Something simple like telling my wife that she's beautiful every single day. understanding what your significant other's love language is. Do you know what their love language is? Are you doing the things that really make them feel full based on their love language? And then other relationships, friends, family. Do you have friends? Do you have a lot of friends? Do you not have enough friends? Do you spend time with them? Do you go out with them? Do you have meaningful relationships where you feel that these people would do anything for you and you would do anything for them? Are they one-way relationships? How would you rate that on a scale of 1 to 10? And then thinking about what would make that an absolute 10. What would make it just set on fire and make you feel completely happy, like you're making progress and you're doing everything you can. Next area is going to be time. Your time. How do you spend your time? Do you manage your time? Do you schedule your time? Do you have enough time? Are you one of those people that's always saying there's never enough time? There's never enough time in the day. I just can never get anything done. I don't understand it. I feel like I'm always rushing. I'm always late. I'm always behind. Or are you someone that says, I'm on top of it? I schedule everything out the way it needs to be done. The things I don't get done, I prioritized. So I made sure I got the things done today I needed to. The ones that weren't a priority got pushed onto tomorrow, and now they're a priority tomorrow. I manage my time well. I manage my time between business and family and relationships well. How are you managing those things? How do you manage your time? On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate yourself with the way that you budget, manage, use, and feel about time? And if you were to make this a level 10, if you were to say this year is a success because I was able to get a hold of my time and I was always able to manage it a little better, and I feel so much more alive and so much more valuable to myself, to my business, to my family because I've managed my time, what would that look like to you? What would what would that life look like for you? Next one is career and mission. So with your career and mission, is this your job? Is this your career? Is this your real estate business? Do you have a goal to do something else? Do you have a mission and a career mission that you wanted to do something else? On a scale of 1 to 10, rate that career and mission. This isn't money. This is career, mission, purpose. Am I doing the things that I feel like are part of my full purpose and mission to help people? I really love and enjoy helping people achieve the biggest dream of most people's lives, which is home ownership, the biggest asset in most of their lives. I'm able to help them put more money in their pocket than they ever have at the sale of a home, and see the smile on their face, to watch them grow a family, to build, to build this family, to bring kids into this world, and to watch them grow from this simple little condo or townhome into a really beautiful home in a great neighborhood. And now they have this family. Like, what is that career and mission? If you were going to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, what would that be for you? Right now, where would you be? And a level 10, what would level 10 look like for you? Start thinking about that. We're going to get more into what would level 10 look like for you in a minute. Finances. How do you feel about money? What do you think about money? Do you have a negative connotation always attached to money? Do you feel like money is evil? Money is bad? I shouldn't have money. Money is the root of all evil. Do you feel like that? Or do you feel like money is a tool? Money is just a tool that I use to work through life to get some of the things that I want. But money is the tool that helps me on the journey to my progress towards happiness. But money is not happiness. Or is it? Hey, money is what makes the world go round. Money is what's happiness to me. I know if I have money, I'll always be happy. There's a saying, money can't buy happiness, but everybody wants to give it a shot. All right. So what is that? What are your finances? Do you have money in the bank? Do you have nothing in the bank? Do you have savings? Do you have money in your business checking account, business savings account, personal checking account, personal savings account? Do you have assets or liabilities? What is your scale of 1 to 10 finances right now? And then what would that level 10 look like for you? Level 10, would that be level 10 would meaning I need 6 months of cash reserves in the bank. That cash reserves doesn't get touched. So would I need that? Is that what I need to have? I only have this much, I need that much. Talking about finances, do you own your property? Do you have rental income coming from a property? Is that a level 10 to have rental income coming in? Now, what are your finances on a scale of 1 to 10? Pick it. And this is what, once you start coloring it in, this is what it'll look like. So you're going to draw that and then color in underneath there. And then lastly, contribution and spirituality. This is your meaning, your spiritual being, your connection, your energy, whatever that is, whether it's religion, whether it's your sense of being, whether it's just your overall feeling of the world and how everything connects, whether it's energy, and then contribution. What are you giving back to the people around you? So all of that encompassed. What are you doing to be a better contributor to this society? What are you doing to be more connected to everybody around you, to give, to love, and just be a bigger picture, like a bigger part of this world? What are you doing there? On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you consider your contribution, spirituality, religion, whatever that is for you? What would you consider that? And then what would make it a 10? Would it be, I need to get more involved with a local church? Would it be, I need to take more time to meditate? I should be meditating every single morning, every afternoon, every evening, whatever that is. Would it be, I need to make more time for charity? I should do once a month, once a week. I should have some charitable actions. Would it be, I should be checking the box on my Easter Seals form to donate $21 from every check towards Easter Seals, because I know that that's a great charity that's there. What are you doing to contribute to this world? What are you doing to grow, to contribute, to just to be more connected and just be a loving individual, a giving individual, and a better part of society? What are you doing? Right? So this is what it starts to look like. This isn't, this is just an example. So just kind of coloring these things in. Once you pick, it'd be a 9. So I would see here. Now, if this is a wheel of life and you attach this wheel to your car that you called life, and you put 3 more of them on this car, how well would this roll? How well would this wheel move through life? And does this give you any inclination as to why you might be having a little bit of a bumpy ride in some places? Right? So this isn't necessarily about making it a perfect wheel. This is about getting an idea of where you stand in your life. This is about getting clarity on where you are. So this is where you are, a snapshot of where you are in this life, where you are in this world, with your feelings towards these, rated on a scale of 1 to 10. And when you do that and you identify where you are, now the next thing to do is to start looking at this and say, which ones should I focus on if I wanted to have the greatest impact on me? And it doesn't have to be the ones that are the lowest. Time may not be important to you because it's never been important to you, because you're more focused on contribution, spirituality, or your physical body, whatever that is. You've never had issues with time. So it's just a 5 because I don't think about it. It's not a 5 because it's bad. It's just a 5 because I don't focus on it. So it's not necessarily the lower ones, but looking at where you are, where do you feel you should put your energy and your focus to try and set some goals, to try and set some level 10 goals in one of these fields, and then start trying to work towards it. So if you're having trouble setting goals, if you're having trouble figuring some things out, let's do this exercise. Do the wheel of life, color it in, see where you're at, and then let's identify what's a level 10 look like for you. And try and fixate, let's pick 3 things, 3 avenues here, 3 of these 7 that you're gonna focus on, and pick a level 10. So if physical body is one of them, physical body would be, this is at an 8, and to get to a 10, I need to be able to run a mile in less than 10 minutes. I need to go to the gym 6 days a week for an hour a day. I need to be able to lift X amount of weight. I need to be able to, I need to make sure I journal my diet and all of the food I consume, the amount of water, amount of food, measuring those foods, whatever that is for you. Pick some things that would be a level 10 and then get a visualization for it. So physical body would be in the best shape of my life. I can see it. I can picture it. I know I can get a picture and put it on my vision board, and start focusing on those things. Let's figure out what that level 10 is for you in that field. So figure out these avenues. Is anybody online that wants to share an avenue that they would like to focus on? So an avenue, And this is what I would give you for your homework. Your homework would be, from now until next week, identify your wheel of life and pick at least one of those areas that you want to focus on to make a level 10. Identify what number it is. I'm a 4 in my finances. And to be a level 10, I would need to have 6 months of reserves. I would need to have 15 transactions coming in this next year. And I would need to work and have, let's just say I would need to have an additional $25,000 in the bank that's going to be sitting there just for savings. To figure out what that is, I would need to know what my total monthly expenses are. I know we talk about that a lot, but nobody's really, we don't always go and focus on that. So just knowing where you are, let's really focus on where you are and then pick a direction that you're going to go and figure out what that level 10 looks like for you so we can set some goals there. And then once we set some goals, setting goals and putting them into a formula to get some progress here. So if you're going to set some goals, there's a simple formula for setting goals and working towards getting them. So once you do your wheel of life and have an idea of what avenue of your life is a level 3, 4, 5, whatever that is, and you get an idea of what that level 10 looks like for you, then we are going to sit down and start focusing on a specific outcome, a specific goal. So the first step in creating these outcomes and getting this wheel of life in place and then creating an outcome is, or creating a goal, is to know what it is that you want. Know your outcome. The first thing you have to do is you have to know where you're going. I've mentioned this a million times. You cannot get in your car and start driving without knowing where you're going. If you just drive aimlessly, guess where you're going to end up? Nowhere. You're never going to get anywhere. You're never going to get there. It's never going to happen because you didn't know where you were going. But if I know I'm going here and I'm going to this place, I can punch it into GPS, or I already have it in my head and I start heading that way and I go there. So know what your outcome is. So this is your first thing. Know what your outcome. Know what that level 10 looks like for you and get specific, right? So we need to have a target and we need to have some specifics around that. So if your finances were, I need to have, a level 10 looks like 6 months of reserves, all of my bills paid, out of debt, whatever that is. Let's sit down and go through specifics. 6 months of reserves. How much is 6 months of reserves? Know what it is that you want. Well, 6 months of reserves would be $30,000. So I need $30,000 in cash reserves that's in an account. And then you also said, I want to have $20,000 of disposable income that I can use for a potential investment. So then you have $20,000, all your bills paid. If it's 6 months of reserves is $5,000 a month, then you need all of your bills paid. That's another $5,000 a month for the year. That's $60,000. So 60,000 plus 30,000 is 90,000 plus the 20,000. Let's get specific on exactly what it is that you want, exactly what your outcome is. Know what that outcome is. And when you start thinking in terms of outcomes, you usually have a better result whenever you get to something, even if it's something as simple as picking up the phone and trying to call some for sale by owners. What is my outcome? Remind yourself of what your outcome is when you're doing some of these things. So aside from setting the goal, if you just focus on what an outcome is, when I pick up the phone to call for sale by owner, if I don't do that, in my head, I'm thinking, I need the listing, trying to get the listing, working on the listing. Now here's my listing. But if I go, what is my outcome? What is my outcome of this call? My outcome is to see if I can help this guy. It seems like he might be struggling. How can I help him? What is going to be the best thing that I can do for this person to help them get their home sold? And then I pick up the phone with the direction of what is my outcome? My outcome is to help this person to do this, to do this, to do this. I'm going to have a much better result than my outcome is to get the listing, get the listing. I'm going to be going after a listing, and we know that doesn't work. You just end up hitting a roadblock when you're doing that. Next is, it's just so important. And we talk about this in our Next Level University, your reticular activating system. So Jeff talks about it all the time, and we used to mention it all the time in our Beggins University, and we've mentioned it in Next Level University as well. Reticular activating system, that's the part of your body and part of your brain that literally filters out 99% of the BS that's out there. literally, if you were going to focus and see and consume everything going on, everything that's going on around you, the sound of the wind, the fan that's on, my dog walking across the tile, the car that just drove by, the bird that just flew out there, the plane that's up ahead, the sun shining in my eyes, if my brain was intently focused on every single one of those things, you would go absolutely crazy. So your reticular activating system, what it does is it picks out the pieces that you have shown it to be important. So you ever notice that whenever you think about a new car or you focus on a new car, and even sometimes even before you get the new car, you're just so focused, this is the car I want, this is what I'm gonna get, and you're looking at it, you're shopping on Auto Trader, on Car Gurus, you're going to the dealerships, and everywhere you're driving, you start seeing that car. You start seeing it everywhere, and you start calling, oh, look at that one, that's a cool color, look at the way they've done this with their wheels. That's your reticular activating system filtering out all the other cars that are on the road to show you what you've told it is important to you. And it works the same way with outcomes and goals. What does the level 10 look like for you in this avenue, in this field, in your business, in your finances, in your relationship, and whatever that is, and focus on it. And you telling your brain, this is important to me. Pay attention to this. Show me anything that's related to this because it's important to me, and your brain's going to start focusing on that, and you'll become more aware of the things going on around you. The second thing you need to know is know your reasons. Know why. Know why you're doing these things. So know why you want that level 10 life. What does that level 10 life look like to you? But then also, what does it mean to you? What's the reason and the purpose that you're going to be going after that? Let's get some emotion attached to it. 6 months of cash reserves, $20,000 in the bank, and all of my bills paid. What does that feel like? Why would you want that? What's the reason and purpose? Tell me what that feels like. Tell me how much a sigh of relief you would be able to have walking in the door or walking to the mailbox, knowing that whatever bill is in there, it doesn't matter because it's covered, because you've got that. But every other time you walk to the mailbox and you're kind of rolling your eyes and you're kind of strolling and you're looking, and as soon as you see the bill, you get tensed up just slightly. So knowing the reason and the purpose, know the reason that you're doing it. What does that feel like to have that level 10? What does it really mean to you? Because we know that if we can get some emotion attached to something, we can get some better action. Emotion is created from emotion. So if we can get some really good emotion there, we can create motion. And the same thing, vice versa. We can get some motion going and get some emotion that follows that. So just knowing your reasons why, knowing why you're doing that, and creating that purpose, that reason, that outcome, that level 10 life fully encompassed. This is what I want. This is what it would feel like when I get that. And it's going to mean so much to me and absolutely amazing because I'll be able to provide for my family. My kids will have their college fund taken care of, whatever that is. My bills are all paid. I can breathe a sigh of relief. I won't be doing business the way I've always done it because I won't have commission breath. Whatever those things are, those are really good, big reasons why. And those are the things that help keep you driven. The last step here, or the next step here, is to take a massive action. Know what it is you have to do. So if we have your wheel of life, we know where you're at, we know where you want to go, and we get that goal and that outcome in mind with some good reasons and good purpose. Now we need to figure out, what do you need to do? So, well, if I was going to do the fitness side of things, I'm going to say, okay, I need to sign up for the gym, or I need to buy a nutritional guide so that I can sit down and log all of everything that I'm eating, everything I'm doing. I need to get a workout guide. I log all of my workouts. I need to set an alarm. I'm just going to go into my phone and I'm going to set an alarm for 5 a.m. every single morning for the next 30 days or the next 60 days. So it always goes off at 5:30 and I wake up and go do that. So knowing what the massive action, the action steps you're going to need to take to get to those goals. So if you're having trouble with goals, knowing where you're at, knowing what you want, having that clear outcome in mind, knowing the reason and purpose for it, and then creating some action steps towards that, we can start moving you in that direction. Because the real reason and real meaningful things here are progress. We need progress. We need a level 10 right now. Level 10 doesn't mean it has to be perfect. Level 10 for you, if I did all of these things, level 10 would be great. And as long as I'm taking action towards those, I would feel like I'm making progress. So massive action is, you can't fail unless you try. So if you try something that doesn't work, what should you do? So we know that if we put a plan together, let's just say you sign up for a gym, you start going to the gym, it's too far away, or it's not the right gym, the wrong atmosphere, or they didn't have the classes that you wanted. What should you do? Quit? What if you start eating certain things and you're not losing as much weight as you thought you were going to be? You don't feel as energetic as you thought you would be. What should you do? Quit? No. Know what you're getting and try something else. Knowing what you're getting, knowing what is coming back to you. Once I start taking these actions, I'm going to start getting results. The results are going to be in line with what I'm looking for, or they're going to be out of line with where I'm headed to. So it's my level 10 is here, and the results I'm getting are not bringing me towards my level 10. It's like the saying is, you keep running east looking for a sunset. You could be so incredibly determined. I'm going to run as fast as I can. I'm going to get that sunset. I'm going to keep running until I find it. I'm going to be so energetic and so energized, full of emotion and energy, and nothing's going to stop me. If you're running east looking for a sunset, you're never going to get there, and you're going to be disappointed, and you're going to be frustrated because you're putting so much energy into this without ever getting any type of result that's going to be making you feel like you're getting progress towards happiness. So you have to know what you're getting. You have to know what's coming out of your actions. And we're measuring these. This is all about measuring. Get clarity on where you're at, and let's start measuring where you are, measuring what you're doing, measuring what you're getting. And if you're not getting what you want, change your approach. Try something different. Tweak it. Now, don't be somebody who goes in and changes things nonstop. Just change. You need to give it some time. You need to be dedicated and focused. So only you're going to know that difference. Did you stay dedicated and focused to it long enough to get the results that you feel like you should have got? Did you start getting some results but kind of slacked off just a little bit and you didn't push hard enough, and that's the reason you didn't get what you were looking for, not because what you're doing wasn't right. So just know what you're getting once you take these massive action steps in doing that. The word that they attach to sensory acuity is just knowing, be acutely sensitive to knowing what you are getting, what's coming into your life, knowing I know what my outcome is, I know why I want it, and I'm getting this, and it's not bringing me closer to that, so I need to change my approach and try something else. Because you don't tell a baby who gets up and falls over, well, guess you're just not going to walk. No, they're going to keep trying, and they're going to keep trying. And guess what? Eventually they end up walking. That's why most people in this world majority of them are walkers, because they got up and they walked and they tried and they did it, and they didn't give up until they got it, and they tried a different way if it didn't work the first time. And that's the kind of attitude you have to have towards getting some of these goals that you want. And that's the last step, is change your approach. If what you're getting isn't working, what do you do? If that doesn't work, what should you do? And if that doesn't work, what should you do? How many times do you change the approach? Well, you try until there is no I'm going to quit. It's I try until I get what I want. I try until I get the outcome that I wanted. And that's your idea of getting clear with what you want, figuring out what these are. If you're having trouble attaching to some goals, let's take smaller steps. Figure out where you are. Where is your life in this wheel of life on a scale of 1 to 10 in each of these avenues? Which one do you feel like would be a good avenue to focus on to create some goals and action steps that would make it a level 10 from where you are now? And let's put some action steps and outcomes and reasons and purposes together to start working towards that. Because whenever you're making progress, that equals happiness most of the time for us. We usually start feeling upset, depressed, and down when we're not making any progress, when we're stagnant, when we're stale, when we're not growing as individuals, when we are not giving and growing and having those kind of outcomes. So keep those things in mind. If you would like a copy of the Wheel of Life, I'll send this to you as well. Just shoot me an email and let me know. And if you want to go over this in detail and in depth with someone, I'm happy to do that. We can sit down and talk about where are you here? What would that look like? And start thinking outside the box, because sometimes we get so caught up in our own heads that, again, we don't feel like we're good enough. We don't feel like we deserve it. We don't feel like it's something we could have. My life has always been like this. That's just the way we were. I mean, my parents worked like this, and they earned this much money. So that's really where I feel my cap is. I might be able to earn a little bit more, but that's just what I've always seen and known. And you get so blocked into what your expectations are, because that's what you've always known. And you know, I've said this about business, the worst and most expensive words in any business are, we've always done it that way. And it's the same thing with an individual. This is what I've always known. Those are very, very expensive words, and not just monetarily. They're very expensive words for someone to say, because it's going to block you from taking progress and making steps towards anything that you want if you keep thinking about how things have always been. Because the past is the past. The past does not dictate your future. The things that are going to happen in the future are not predicated on what's happened in the past. You can easily change. So that's what I have for you today. If anybody has any comments or questions, please feel free to let me know. If you would like to sit down and kind of do an overall assessment of your business, of your wheel of life, and set some goals, I'm always happy to do that with you guys. So with that being said, Wednesday, July 29th, we're about 9:15. Just one more quick reminder for those who weren't online in the beginning. There's some storms rolling around out there. Now, as of right now, nothing crazy, nothing that's named that's inside of our area, but they are rolling around and moving this way. What that means for us: get your insurance bound. Buyers, if you have buyers, get your insurance bound. If you have a listing that's under contract, call the buyer's agent. Tell them and remind them, hey, please reach out to the lender. Please reach out to your buyer and make sure they have their insurance bound, because that will delay closing. We have a comment over here. Diane, I have 6s and 7s all the way around the wheel, and I'm going to work on them to get them to be all 10s. That's awesome. And that's really what it's about. You could be at a 6 and a 7, but people could feel like, not miserable, but feel like their life isn't really going anywhere. I'm happy, but you're not making any progress. You're not doing anything to better in any field. So if you work on making that a 10, how hard really is that? You just make little steps here and there. So that's awesome. Congratulations. Very awesome, Diane. And that's really about it. So just a reminder about your business: get your insurance bound, make sure you're on that, and tune in tomorrow for our Hot Topic Thursday. With that being said, have a wonderful Wednesday. Please keep us in mind. If you need anything, reach out to us. We're always available. Thank you. Have a great day.